When I left my homeland, Mexico, and embarked for the United States, I carried with me only an old suitcase full of memories and hopes. My name is Carlos, and like many immigrants, I left my family and friends behind, all in search of the much-talked-about American dream. In my heart, I carry the determination of someone who believes in a better future, not only for me, but especially for Maria, my wife, and our children, John and Sophia, who were still small. Upon arriving on American soil, I was greeted with a mix of anxiety and enthusiasm. The streets of New York, with their skyscrapers and frenetic pace, showed me that the journey would be arduous, but I was prepared. Without wasting time, I started looking for a job and soon found work at a construction company. In the beginning, the days were long and exhausting. Every brick I laid and every wall I erected were like firm steps towards my goal. I felt the weight of responsibility, but also the satisfaction of building something concrete. The first few months were especially challenging. The language barrier and longing for family were constant, but the solidarity of coworkers, many of whom were also immigrants, helped ease the burden. Every weekend, I sent part of my salary to Maria, ensuring that she and the children were well. Your letters and phone calls were my fuel, reminding me daily why I fight. Over time, my effort and dedication began to be recognized. I was promoted to supervisor, an important step that brought not only an increase in salary, but also greater responsibility. It was rewarding to see the progress of each project and know that my work was helping to shape the city's landscape. I felt immense pride when I saw the finished houses, imagining the families that would live in them, enjoying the comfort that I helped to build. Even with the promotion, I didn't let success go to my head. I continued to work with the same intensity, always seeking to learn more and improve my skills. Life in the United States was not easy, but each achievement showed me that I was on the right path. On the weekends, I took the opportunity to explore the city and familiarize myself with the new culture, absorbing every detail that could enrich my experience. The longing for my homeland and my family was constant, but the certainty of building a better future for them gave me strength. Each brick laid was another step towards our dream. I was determined to win, to prove that with hard work and determination, it is possible to turn dreams into reality. The journey was just beginning, but I already felt like I was on the right path, building not only houses, but also a legacy for my children and future generations. After years of hard work and tirelessly dedicating myself to various construction projects, I finally got a permanent job at a large house construction company. It was a moment of relief and celebration, as the stability that I had longed for was within my reach. The company recognized my effort and dedication, and I was quickly promoted to supervisor. This role not only meant a higher position, but also a salary that could guarantee a good standard of living for my wife, Maria, and our two children, John and Sophia. The promotion was a milestone in my life. Earning enough to support my family comfortably filled me with pride and satisfaction. I remember arriving home with the news, and the expression of joy on Maria's face was unforgettable. Our children also felt the change, as we were able to provide them with more than the basics, including a good education and extracurricular activities that were previously beyond our reach. Life began to shape itself in the way I always dreamed of. We bought a modest but comfortable house that we could finally call home. Every corner of the house reflected our love and effort, and seeing John and Sophia growing up in a safe, nurturing environment was a dream come true. The difficulties and uncertainties we faced upon arriving in the United States began to seem distant, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and security. At work, my responsibility increased. As a supervisor, I was in charge of important projects, leading teams and ensuring that each construction was completed with quality and on time. The respect and trust that my superiors and colleagues had in me were evident, and this motivated me to continue striving. I knew my journey was far from over, but each step forward brought me closer to my goal. Despite the intense routine, I made a point of spending time with my family. On weekends, we took the opportunity to explore parks and museums, creating memories that would last forever. Maria, always by my side, was my pillar of strength and understanding. Our union grew stronger with each challenge overcome, and together, we celebrated each small victory. The feeling of moving up in life, of seeing our dreams come true, was indescribable. I knew there was a lot of work ahead, but with determination and love, I would continue to build a bright future for my family. After all, the American dream that brought me here was becoming a reality, one brick at a time. It was on a seemingly ordinary day that my life changed forever. We were working on a new project, a house that promised to be one of the most beautiful we have ever built. The sun was shining, and the team was in good spirits, making rapid progress on the foundations. Everything seemed normal until, suddenly, I felt an intense, searing pain in my head. My vision began to darken and the voices around me became a distant blur. Before I could understand what was happening, I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes, the hospital's fluorescent light momentarily blinded me. The first thing I saw was Maria's face, pale and full of worry. His eyes were red from crying. I tried to move, but a strange sensation overcame me. It was then that the doctor came in and, with a serious expression, explained what had happened. I had suffered a stroke. The words sounded distant, almost unreal. I tried to lift my left arm, but it didn't respond. Receiving the news that the left side of my body was paralyzed was devastating. I never imagined that something like this could happen to me, a man who was always strong and active. The doctor explained that the damage was extensive and that I would never walk again without the help of a wheelchair. Each word was like a blow, destroying the future I had imagined for myself and my family. Maria tried to be strong, but I saw the pain in her eyes. She held my hand, trying to convey a hope that not even she herself felt. All I could think about was the impact this would have on our lives. I was the family provider, and now, it seemed like all our achievements were threatened. The feeling of helplessness was overwhelming. The following days in the hospital were a whirlwind of emotions. I received visits from coworkers, all with sad expressions and words of comfort. I felt trapped in a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. The future I worked so hard to build was in ruins, and the uncertainty about how I could provide for my family consumed me. Despite all the pain and uncertainty, Maria didn't give up on me. She took care of me with tireless dedication, helping me get through each difficult day. Your strength and love were my only relief in the midst of chaos. I knew I had a long journey of recovery ahead of me, and although the road was dark, Maria's constant presence by my side gave me a reason to fight. The company where I worked for so many years, which was once my source of pride and livelihood, dismissed me as soon as they found out about my health status. I received the news with a mixture of shock and disbelief. I was called into the manager's office, and in just a few words, they informed me that they could no longer keep my job. I felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. Years of dedication and hard work were thrown away without the slightest consideration. The feeling of betrayal was deep and painful. I felt helpless. Without employment, our main source of income has disappeared. Insecurity about my family's future consumed me. The nights were long, filled with anxious and desperate thoughts about how we would survive. What hurt most was knowing that I, who had always been the provider, now couldn't do anything to support Maria and our children. It was a feeling of helplessness that I had never experienced before. The fear for John and Sophia's future was overwhelming. They were still young, with dreams and aspirations that I feared I could no longer support. I thought about their needs, education, food, and how we could maintain the standard of living that we worked so hard to achieve. Desperation began to set in, a dark feeling that threatened to swallow all my hope. Maria, however, refused to let me succumb to despair. With a strength that impressed me every day, she took care of me with tenderness and determination. Your unwavering love was a beacon in the darkness that enveloped us. She helped me with all my daily needs, always with an encouraging smile and words of support. His optimism and dedication inspired me not to give up, even when everything seemed lost. Maria also took the lead in looking for alternatives to our situation. She started doing sporadic work, trying to bring some income home. The local community, touched by our history, also offered us help in different ways. Small gestures of solidarity and support began to show us that we were not alone in this battle. These acts of kindness reignited a flame of hope within me. Although the situation was terribly difficult, Maria's strength gave me courage. I knew that, despite the adversity, we needed to keep fighting. Your dedication and love showed me that, Even in the worst circumstances, family support and community solidarity can make a difference. I decided that no matter how long and arduous the journey was, I would not give up. Maria's love and strength were my anchor, and together, we would find a way to overcome this crisis. It was Maria who, with her clear vision and unwavering determination, suggested that we hire a lawyer and sue the company for unfair dismissal. At first, the idea seemed scary to me. Facing a large company in court was not something I had imagined, but the outrage and desire for justice were greater. We decided that we could not accept injustice idly. It wasn't just for us, but for all the workers who could face the same fate. After some searching, we found attorney Mark, a man with a solid reputation and a generous heart. When we met for the first time, I told my story with all the emotions that were still fresh. Mark listened intently, and I saw a mixture of empathy and determination in his eyes. He was moved by our situation and, at the end of the meeting, decided to represent us without hesitation. His confidence was a breath of hope in the midst of chaos. The process was long and exhausting. There were moments when tiredness and stress almost got the best of me. The company did not give in easily. They used all legal resources and maneuvers to defend themselves. Each court hearing was a battle, each document a small victory or defeat. But I was determined to fight for what was fair. Maria's constant presence and Mark's unwavering support were essential in maintaining my resolve. During the months of legal struggle, our case began to gain attention. Other workers, inspired by our courage, began sharing their own stories of injustice. I realized that our fight was bigger than we imagined. We were giving a voice to many who, like me, had been silenced and dismissed. This gave me even more strength to continue. It wasn't just for me, but for all the workers who could face the same fate. Mary became my rock, my foundation. She was by my side at every hearing, supporting and encouraging me every step of the way. Your strength inspired me to never give up, even when everything seemed difficult. Together, we faced the challenges, always maintaining hope that justice would prevail. Her determination was contagious and reminded me daily of why we were fighting. Finally, after many months of battle, the verdict was announced. We won the case. The company was ordered to pay significant compensation. The victory was a mixture of relief and emotion. We knew that this was an achievement not only for us, but for all workers who face injustice. That moment was proof that, with courage and determination, it is possible to fight for a fairer future. The months that followed were extremely difficult. The company I worked for had abundant resources and an army of powerful lawyers, determined to win at any cost. However, Mark, our lawyer, was undeterred. He worked tirelessly, gathering evidence, finding witnesses, and building a solid case that could challenge the company's robust defense. Their dedication and competence were impressive and gave us hope in the midst of the turbulence. Each hearing was a trial by fire. Walking into the courtroom, seeing the faces of the company's lawyers, and hearing their cruel arguments made me feel exposed and vulnerable. It was as if my entire life was being scrutinized and judged. There were moments when fear and insecurity threatened to take over me, but the constant presence of Maria and our children gave me the strength to continue. They were my reason to fight, the fuel that fueled my determination. Mary became more than a wife. She was my biggest supporter and defender. She was present at every hearing, always by my side, holding my hand and offering words of encouragement. Seeing her eyes filled with determination and love reminded me of what was at stake. It was not just a question of money or revenge, but of dignity and justice. I wanted to prove that immigrants deserve respect and fair treatment, regardless of their status. Mark, with his skill and passion for justice, was able to gather crucial testimonies from co-workers who had witnessed my dedication and the devastating impact of the stroke on my life. He brought in doctors and specialists to testify about my condition and what it meant for my ability to work. Every detail, every testimony, helped strengthen our case, showing the truth of my situation. During the most difficult times, John and Sophia also proved to be incredibly strong. Despite their youth, they understood the gravity of the situation and supported us with maturity beyond their years. His words of encouragement and gestures of affection were invaluable. I knew I was fighting not just for my justice, but for their future. to ensure they grew up in a world where workers' rights were respected. The legal battle was exhausting, draining our emotional and physical strength. However, every small step forward in court gave us hope. Mark kept us informed and guided us through each step of the process, always confident and determined. We knew the fight was difficult, but we also knew we were on the side of justice. I wanted justice not just for my situation, but to show that immigrants deserve respect and dignity. After many months of intense and exhausting battle, the day of the verdict has finally arrived. The courtroom was filled with tension, each of us anxiously awaiting the decision that could change our lives. The judge entered, and absolute silence took over the room. When he began to read the verdict, my heart was beating so loud it seemed like everyone could hear it. And then, the words we had been waiting for. We won the case. The company was ordered to pay significant compensation. The news was an indescribable relief. Emotion took over all of us. Mary, who had been my rock all this time, cried with joy. Her eyes shone with tears of happiness, and she hugged me tightly. I felt that, finally, justice had been served. All the suffering and difficulties we faced were not in vain. The court victory was not just a financial victory, but a validation of our fight for justice and dignity. The feeling of relief was overwhelming. The uncertainties about our family's future began to dissipate. We knew that, with this compensation, we could guarantee a better future for John and Sophia, as well as having the possibility of starting over in a dignified way. Justice had prevailed, and our efforts had been rewarded. Our attorney, Mark, has become more than just a legal representative. During these months, he proved himself to be a true friend and defender of workers' rights. His dedication and passion for the cause were evident at every step of the process. He fought alongside us with a tenacity and commitment that we will never forget. Mark showed us that even in the midst of adversity, there are people willing to fight for what is right. The court's decision also had an impact beyond our family. Our story was shared in the community, inspiring other workers to defend their rights. We felt that this victory was a milestone, not only for us, but for many who face similar situations. The message was clear. Justice can be achieved, and it is possible to fight injustice regardless of the obstacles. With the victory, our focus was now on planning the future. The compensation would allow us to make the necessary adaptations to my new condition, in addition to providing financial security for my family. Maria and I knew that the journey was not yet complete, but we were ready to face the next challenges with renewed hope and determination. The victory in court was a new beginning, a symbol that the fight for justice is worth it. With the compensation, we were finally able to breathe a little easier. It was as if a huge weight had been lifted from our shoulders. The first thing we did was sit down together and carefully plan how to use the money in a way that would bring lasting benefits to our family. We decided to use part of the compensation to make improvements to our home. We wanted a more accessible and comfortable space, adapted to my new needs, where I could move more easily and independently. John and Sophia's education was our next priority. We always dreamed of offering them opportunities that Maria and I didn't have in our childhood. Now, with compensation, we could ensure that they had access to quality education, opening doors to a promising future. Seeing the joy and relief in Maria's eyes as she discussed these improvements and opportunities was comforting. We felt that, despite all the difficulties, we were finally on the right path to ensuring a stable and prosperous future for our children. But even with these improvements, I knew I wanted to do something more meaningful. I wanted to give back in some way, to help other immigrants who, like me, were fighting for a dignified place in American society. The decision to support a greater cause was unanimous among us. The experience of being unfairly dismissed and then winning in court showed us the importance of solidarity and community support. It was time to turn our personal victory into a source of hope and support for others. We researched several organizations and found the Immigrant Support Foundation, an institution dedicated to offering legal, medical, and educational assistance to immigrants in vulnerable situations. We felt an immediate connection to their mission. We decided that a significant portion of our compensation would go towards supporting this institution. We wanted to ensure that other immigrants had access to the support they needed to fight for their rights and improve their living conditions. In making this donation, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. I knew we were contributing to something bigger than ourselves. Maria and I are actively involved with the foundation, attending events and volunteering our time and resources whenever possible. We wanted to be an active voice in the community, sharing our story and encouraging others not to give up on their dreams despite the odds. Through this decision, our family found a new sense of unity and purpose. Planning for the future was not just about our well-being, but also about the positive impact we could have on other people's lives. Every step we took, every action we took, was guided by the determination to build a legacy of justice, solidarity, and hope for all immigrants seeking a dignified place in American society. Together with Maria and Mark, we decided that the best way to use our compensation would be to create a fund to support an institution that cared for unsupported immigrants. We wanted to do something lasting, something that reflected our journey and offered hope to others in the same situation. After much research and discussion, we found the Immigrant Support Foundation, an organization dedicated to providing legal, medical, and educational assistance to immigrants. We immediately felt like this was the perfect cause for us to contribute. The Immigrant Support Foundation stood out not only for its mission, but also for the passion and dedication of its team. In our first meeting with the directors, we were impressed by the success stories and comprehensive programs they offered. From legal aid for immigrants facing deportation to educational programs for children and adults, the foundation was doing vital work for the community. Maria and I knew that our support could further expand the reach and impact of this organization. We decided to establish the Carlos Family Fund, a fund dedicated to providing ongoing resources to the Immigrant Support Foundation. With Mark's help, we outlined a plan to ensure the funds were used effectively and transparently. Our goal was to not only offer financial support, but also to actively engage with the foundation, contributing our time and expertise. We wanted to ensure that immigrants had access to the tools and support they needed to build a good life in the United States. Seeing the fund in operation gave me a deep sense of accomplishment. Early initiatives sponsored by the Carlos Family Fund included labor rights workshops, literacy programs, and free health services. Each event, each person helped, was a living testament to the impact we could have. The gratitude expressed by the beneficiaries reinforced our decision to continue supporting the foundation in every way possible. Mark has also become an integral part of this effort, offering his pro bono legal services for many cases. His experience and dedication were invaluable, and he became a true advocate for immigrant rights. Working side by side with Mark and the foundation team was an enriching experience, showing me that even in adversity, we can find ways to help others and give back to the community. Our legacy of solidarity has begun to inspire other community members to get involved and contribute. Friends, coworkers, and even strangers who heard our story began offering their support, whether through donations or volunteering. The Solidarity Network grew, and the positive impact multiplied. We felt like we were not only giving back, but also creating a movement of compassion and mutual support, something that would continue to benefit generations of immigrants for many years to come. Unfortunately, my health continued to deteriorate as time went on. The consequences of the stroke were relentless, making my mobility and independence increasingly difficult. Simple activities, which I used to do without thinking, have become daily challenges. Maria, always by my side, did her best to make my life easier, but even with all the care and love she gave me, my body continued to weaken. Each day that passed, I felt like my time was running out. There were moments of despair and sadness, but also moments of reflection and acceptance. The community around us has been a pillar of strength during these difficult times. Friends and neighbors often came to visit, offering help and company. Their words of comfort and acts of kindness were a constant reminder that we were not alone. Despite my declining health, there was an inner peace that accompanied me. I knew that our fight had not been in vain. The creation of the Carlos Family Fund and continued support of the Immigrant Support Foundation had a real and positive impact on the lives of many immigrants. Each success story, each person helped, was a testimony to our effort and dedication. Knowing that our battle had brought hope and help to many others gave me strength to face my own challenges. I looked at Maria and our children, John and Sophia, and saw in them the future I fought so hard for. They were the embodiment of our dream and our perseverance. Even though my health was deteriorating, The knowledge that they would have a better future comforted me. John and Sophia, with their youth and determination, would continue our legacy of fighting for justice and dignity. Family moments became even more precious. Each meal shared, each conversation around the table, was a treasure that I treasured. Maria, with her strength and resilience, inspired me to keep fighting, even when my body wanted to give up. She was my pillar, and her constant presence gave me a sense of security and unconditional love. As I faced the decline of my health, I found comfort in the knowledge that my life, despite all the adversities, had made a difference. The fight for justice, support for the immigrant community, and love for my family were legacies I would leave behind. Even though I knew my time was coming to an end, there was a serenity in my heart, knowing that my journey had been meaningful and that I had, in some way, contributed to a better world. On a peaceful morning, surrounded by my family, I felt like my time was coming to an end. The sun shone softly through the windows, filling the room with a warm, serene light. Maria was by my side, as always, holding my hand tenderly. John and Sophia stood close, their expressions a mix of sadness and strength. I knew that moment would be difficult for them, but I also knew that my journey was complete. Every breath felt like an effort, but my heart was at peace. I felt deep gratitude for having fought to the end, for having faced adversity with courage and determination. My mind was filled with memories. The first days of construction, the legal battle, the creation of the Carlos Family Fund. All of this had shaped my life in ways I could never have imagined. As the world around me began to fade away, I felt the constant presence of Maria, her love and strength accompanying me until the last moment. His eyes, although sad, shone with the determination I've always admired. She whispered words of love and encouragement, and I knew that even after I was gone, she would continue to be the rock of our family. The pain of leaving my family was mitigated by the certainty that my legacy would continue. I knew that Maria, John, and Sophia would carry out the mission of supporting immigrants and fighting for justice. Our work with the Immigrant Support Foundation was a beacon of hope that would continue to shine, helping those facing the same struggles I once faced. It gave me deep comfort and a sense of accomplishment. As I took my last breath, I felt a deep calm come over me. Maria held my hand until the last moment, her touch full of love and farewell. I felt the presence of my children, their hands in mine, and I knew they were prepared to face the future with the same courage and determination that I had always tried to instill in them. My departure was serene, wrapped in love and gratitude. I knew that my life had been meaningful and that, in some way, I had contributed to a better world. My legacy of solidarity and justice would continue, and that gave me peace. I felt that my journey had come to a complete end, and with that, I took my last breath, surrounded by the love of my family, with the certainty that I would not be forgotten. After my death, Maria determinedly took on the responsibility of continuing our work. She dedicated herself to managing the Carlos Family Fund and supporting the Immigrant Support Foundation, keeping the legacy we built together alive. With unwavering strength, she became a respected leader in the community, helping countless immigrants find the support and justice they so desperately needed. His commitment to the cause was an extension of our love and our struggle. John and Sophia grew up in this atmosphere of justice and solidarity. From a young age, they understood the importance of fighting for the rights of others and never remaining silent in the face of injustice. They were actively involved in the foundation's activities, participating in events and awareness campaigns. Our family history became a source of inspiration for them, guiding their actions and decisions. Our story was shared widely in the community. Maria, with her passion and dedication, made a point of sharing our journey in schools, churches, and community centers. Every time she spoke, people felt the strength of our purpose and the depth of our struggle. These stories spread, inspiring others to fight for their rights and not give up, no matter the adversity they faced. The message was clear. With courage and solidarity, it is possible to overcome any obstacle. The impact of our lives went beyond the borders of our community. The Immigrant Support Foundation has grown and prospered, expanding its services and reaching even more immigrants. The fund we created has helped finance education, legal assistance, and medical support programs, transforming lives and providing new opportunities for many. Feeling that our struggle had planted seeds of hope and change was deeply gratifying. John and Sophia, as they matured, followed paths that reflected the values we taught them. John became a civil rights lawyer, dedicating his career to protecting the rights of workers and immigrants. Sophia, in turn, became involved in education, working to ensure that immigrant children had access to quality education and fair opportunities. Both kept the essence of what we fought for alive, extending our legacy to future generations. The presence of Maria, John, and Sophia at the foundation and in the community has continued to strengthen the impact of our lives. Every victory they achieved, every person they helped, was proof that our efforts were worth it. The fight for justice and the dignity of immigrants continued, now driven by the new generation. My life, although marked by challenges, had left an indelible mark on the world, a legacy of love, justice, and solidarity that would continue to inspire and transform lives for many years to come. Today, when I look at everything we have built, I feel immense pride, even though I know that I am no longer physically present to witness the fruits of our efforts. My life was marked by struggles and challenges, but also by victories and solidarity. Every obstacle I faced, every injustice I fought, contributed to something greater than I could have imagined. The Immigrant Support Foundation, which began as a dream of justice and support, continues to grow and prosper. The foundation now helps thousands of immigrants find a better path. With continued support from the Carlos Family Fund, it has expanded its programs, offering not only legal, medical, and educational assistance, but also job training courses and social integration programs. Seeing the positive impact our contribution has brought to so many lives is an accomplishment that transcends any pain or hardship I have experienced. Mary, John, and Sophia, each in their own way, keep the spirit of our legacy alive. Maria continues to be a driving force at the foundation, leading initiatives and ensuring that the values of justice and solidarity remain at the heart of everything they do. John, as a civil rights attorney, and Sophia, in education, work tirelessly to ensure that future generations have access to opportunity and justice. They are the embodiment of our dream, carrying forward the flame we light. Our family's story has become a symbol of hope for many. The community rallied around our cause, inspired by our determination and resilience. Our struggle and our victories showed that it is possible to overcome adversity and make a real difference in the world. The foundation is constantly welcoming new volunteers and donations, expanding its ability to help even more people. This continued growth is a testament to the power of solidarity and justice. Even though I'm no longer here, I know that my legacy of hope and justice will continue to live on through the actions of those who believe in a more just and supportive world. Each life transformed, each injustice corrected, is a part of our legacy that endures. The Immigrant Support Foundation is more than an organization. It is a beacon of hope, proof that together we can build a better world. As I reflect on my journey, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for Maria, who never gave up on me, by John and Sophia, who followed in our footsteps, and for everyone who supported our cause. My life, with all its difficulties and triumphs, has been a testament to what is possible when one fights with courage and love. I know that even after I am gone, my spirit lives on through the actions of those who continue to believe in a world where justice and dignity prevail.